Hey guys, welcome to LaughNapkin. Today I'll be reading a handful of short stories from r/PettyRevenge, and then one of your comment stories. If you have a story that you'd like to be featured, please submit it in the LaughNapkin subreddit. I'll throw a link in the description. Now let's get into it. Tried to get my car towed, gets his instead. Happened a couple hours ago. I was in a hurry to get to the bank and cancel my account, since I'm poor as dirt and debt was starting to pile. I was kinda late, so I parked in a bad spot. A bald guy in a Toyota arrives while I'm parking and starts berating me to move my car or he'll get it towed, all the while screaming and pointing at a relatively far away legit parking spot. Now I'm really in a hurry because my debt increases for each and every day my account is still open, and it's the first time in months that I can afford to pay for it. But I can't afford to get my crappy car towed. So I oblige and I move my car. When I'm walking all the way back to the bank, I realize this dummy was parked in the space that I was before, so I called the towing service and get inside the bank. When I got out 25 minutes later, dummy was still there. His Toyota was not. I waved my hand at him and walked towards my parking spots. Unexplainably mad bald guy, if you're reading this, suck it up, my dude. Skin bleaching? I'll do one better. I'm Pakistani Asian, and since I was a kid, people have been obsessed with my skin tone. It's what they comment on first when they see me. Oh wow, so pretty. Your skin's so white. Absolutely gross. It's completely messed up how obsessed with lighter tones these people get. This is mainly extended family, rather than my immediate family. One of the older women in my family came over to my home and said that I needed to protect my skin tone, and that she had some cream I could use. She hands me a face cream, and I pay no attention to what it is. She leaves, and I read what's in the face cream. It's skin lightening cream. She had given me stuff that would bleach my skin. So I put the cream to the side, and instead go out and buy some of that instant tan spray. I get to work, and soon my entire body and face is a beautiful golden brown. I knew she was coming back over the next day, so I wait. And as soon as she saw me, she actually yelled out. She asked what I had done, and I said, I don't know, I only used your cream. I handed her the tub, and she threw it in the bin right away. I don't know if it made that much of an impact, but she's fairly old and gullible, so I'm hoping she'll stop handing out skin lightening stuff. Embarrass me in front of my friends? I'll embarrass you in front of the airport. So my brother and I used to prank each other back and forth regularly a few years ago when I still lived at home. One day I'm sitting in my room hanging out with some friends when he walks in and says, "Look what I found under my brother's bed." He then proceeds to lift my mattress and reveal a dildo that he left there earlier that day. Everyone gets a good laugh at my expense, and my brother makes a fatal error. He leaves said dildo in my possession. Fast forward a month and a half. My brother's on his way to see a friend on the other side of Canada. I slipped the dildo I've been holding on to in his carry-on bag right before he leaves the house. It was a gel dildo, so I also inserted a long steel rod inside of it, hoping it would set off the alarm at security and get him searched. A couple hours later, my phone rings. It's my brother. He's calling, still embarrassed, to let me know that I won our war, and security had made him pull out the dildo in front of everyone. The best part is he was hitting it off with the cute girl in line behind him who was taking the same flights. However, the conversation ended quite abruptly. You call me fat? Wait 30 minutes for your chicken. So I was in line at a fast food restaurant when a mother behind me said to her whining child, "You can only eat one piece of chicken, no more than that, or you'll be fat like this guy in front of you." And then it was my turn, and I asked the clerk if all the chicken on display is all they had left. They said yes, and the other batch is still cooking. I said to the clerk that I wanted to buy all of it. I paid and walk away slowly. When the mother comes up, the clerk explained that they're out of chicken and she needs to wait 30 minutes. Her kid keeps whining. She was angry and upset. She then looked at me frowning, and I just flipped her the bird and turned to go home. Now I'm about $17 poorer, and I have about 15 pieces of chicken, but seeing the look on her face and her children is priceless. Want my pizza? You can wear it then. I posted this on another subreddit, but then the more I thought about it, the more I realized it belonged here. When I was 16, my dad and I went to a pizza place that had a buffet that started right at a set time. Like on the dot, the first 2 pizzas were bought out, no sooner. Well, I'd worked my way around so that I was in front of the line. My dad was stuck in the back, so I grabbed a couple extra pieces for him. All of a sudden, some woman gets in my face and tells me, "You certainly grabbed enough, so why don't you give me some?" and took a few pieces. My dad looks at me and asks me what I'm gonna do. I walk to her table and tell her, "Lady, I got that pizza for me," and I try to take it back. She covered them with her hand, so all I could get was the toppings. I then said F that, and told her that if she wanted it that bad, she could keep it, and tossed it on her shirt. The rest of the story is that it took her husband 3 beers to come to our table and try to talk to my dad, who told him to go away, because he already knew the story. The guy tried to one-up my dad by saying, "You'd take the word over a child over the one of a pregnant woman?" My dad took off his glasses and told him that with those, he had 20/20 vision, and he watched the whole thing, and to get out of his face, or he wouldn't be standing there for long. My dad's a Vietnam vet, so I knew he could back it up. I still love the fact that he had my back to this day. Yell at me to speed up at 6 a.m.? Watch as I slow time. This happened back in my college years, when I was a cashier at the grocery store. It was early one morning, and we had just opened about 15 minutes prior, so there were only 2 registers open, me and the self-checkout unit. My first customer of the day is a sweet elderly lady buying about 20 items. She and I are chit-chatting about the day when customer number 2 rushes up behind her with some cereal and milk. Before I can blink, he says, "Hurry it up. Some people have real jobs to get to." Honestly, it didn't faze me. I kindly said, "If you're in such a rush, sir, the self-checkout is also open." He now starts carrying on about how self-check is stealing good jobs. Funny, cause he had just told me that I don't have a real job, but I digress. Sweet elderly lady is now paying and I'm bagging her groceries. Number 2 then shouts, "Did you not hear me to tell you to go faster, jerk?" Now I stop. The elderly lady looks at me and says, "Oh, honey, you do what you have to do." I silently press the manager button, and then I begin slowly bagging my customers' items. And when I say slowly, I mean I move my hand about a ½ inch per second. My sweet elderly lady begins to giggle. Number 2 gets irate and tosses his Wheaties at my head right as the manager walks around the corner, all while screaming obscenities at me. My boss doesn't hesitate. She's seen and heard all. She tells number 2 to leave. Suddenly, number 2 is all apologies and asking if he can please just buy his items from the boss. She firmly tells him no and to leave. Number 2 then throws his milk on the ground and stomps out. My sweet elderly lady and I finished up our transaction, laughing. Never saw number 2 again. Most satisfying revenge of my life. It happened when I was 7 years old. I was at a beach making a sandcastle and this guy shows up out of nowhere and kicks my sandcastle. I got so pissed, but he was bigger and older than me. I just wanted to punch him in the face, but I couldn't do anything. At that moment, I saw a giant rock. As soon as he went away, I picked up that rock and covered it with sand. It almost looked like a sandcastle. I started waiting for him. A few minutes passed and he came back. I knew he would. I could literally see him enjoying it. He comes up and I started yelling at him. "If you ever kick my sandcastle again, you're a dead man. I don't think you can do it though. You kick like a girl." This guy smirks at me and goes a few steps back. Gosh, it was hard to keep my cool. He runs at full speed and kicks my trap. It was the most satisfying revenge of my life. He fell to the ground. I started laughing. I'll never forget his face. He looked at me as if he was gonna grab and beat me to death, but he was in so much pain that he couldn't do anything to me. Light Magic 3 is back again with another comment story of the day. I've actually got another one that's pretty good about my job after the gas station. I got a job working at one of the best video game stores that was around. This was Game Crazy, which was part of Hollywood Video. The pay wasn't great, but it was a super fun job getting to play with video games half the day. It was great until Hollywood Video started going under. They started grading individual employees and the store total based on sales, warranties on game systems, and the MVP membership signups. If you were in a B or higher grade, you would get shifts cut and eventually get fired. At first this wasn't a problem because we were all pretty well performing employees. But soon after, it was figured out that the scores were all based on the other store's performances, and they figured out dishonest ways to pad their scores. They would mark the used game, used system, and even new game prices up so they could push the warranty and the MVP membership and trick people into thinking that they were getting a huge deal by signing up for it, or that the warranty was included even though by law you can't bundle warranties on these products. Needless to say, since our store was honest, we started to see our scores drop like crazy. I luckily found a better job after this, where I've been for the last 13 years. I really should have reported these things at the time, but I was young and didn't realize the level of dishonesty and illegality that was at play here. The stupid part is that Game Crazy was the only profitable part of the company left, and they could have spun it off into its own business, but decided to drag it down with the rest into bankruptcy. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoyed making it. Don't forget to tell me what you think about these stories and submit your own story in the comment section below. See you guys in the next video.